On this episode of Small Town Gen X, I do remember I had a strawberry shortcake cake at one time, and I believe it was...
Was it strawberry? Did it taste like strawberry?
That one, I believe, was homemade, and we just we made it and then frosted it and then had those candies.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember those candies that you would just put on there? I think that one
that
was
were like hard.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you should have ate them.
I don't think you should have ate them, no.
Hello? Oh, do I have a story for you? Oh, do tell. Hello and welcome to the podcast Small Town Gen X.
We're two friends that grew up together in a small town who happen to be cousins. Can't get any more small town than that.
And we have a bunch of stories to tell you from our childhood. I'm Kate.
And I'm Launa. We are pretty fucking excited to record this episode.
Episode 3.
Woo! We made it to 3.
I know. I was like, have we done more? Because I think it's because we've talked our whole lives. So I'm like, we've talked
about this.
Yeah, we've talked about, yeah. Just not with the microphone.
Just not with the microphone.
And I was like, oh, I guess it is only 3. So last week we were talking about phones. Yes. And then later on we were talking about how we forgot to say something about our career as phone talkers.
Is that a thing?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure I'm missing out on some money.
Yeah, me too.
But do you want to do the honors of telling the story of... That would be our middle school. This would be a middle school. Or do you want me to tell this one? Middle school?
Well, we have a record of being on the phone for 8 hours.
We do.
8 hours.
Where was everyone? Like, how were we able to be on the phone? Unless we went upstairs
right
after we were downstairs.
But I mean, this is a full 8 hours, no interruptions.
That's right.
So I don't know how we did it.
And I'm picturing it of me like laying in the living room at some point because I mean it was 8 hours.
Right. I mean, did we not eat? Did we? I don't know.
I'm sure we ate. I'm sure like we at least had snacks.
Snacks. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So we definitely have that. And I've told people that and they're like, are you kidding? And I'm like, no. Because they're like, I don't even like to talk on the phone for 5 minutes, just
anymore. I don't.
And now I really don't ever talk on the phone. If someone calls, I'm like, oh. And or if they FaceTime.
Oh yeah.
One of my cousins loves to FaceTime, and I'm like, oh well, okay.
Right. I see. Yeah, it's like a couple people I see that pop up on FaceTime. I'll answer.
That's me too.
Otherwise, I'll be like, yeah.
And honestly, sometimes if someone will call me, I'm like, oh shit, what happened?
Oh yeah.
Like, is someone dead in the hospital?
Yeah.
Fallen and they can't get up.
I know.
So I'm like, don't call me. Or like text me
and
say like,
I'm going to call you.
I'm going to call you. Like, warn me.
Yeah.
And be like, and everything's fine.
Right. I mean, texting is so easy now that, you know, you just...
There's certain things I do have to be like, hey, it'll just be easier for me to call you to tell you this.
Especially if it's a juicy story.
Oh, well, yeah.
You can't text that.
You can't text that. No. You can't say it in a way
you want to.
And you can't hear the reaction.
Right.
That's even like the best part of
that
telling
is.
somebody something.
You want to know what they're like because what you felt when you heard it, you're like, oh, I got to see how they feel.
Yes. See, we understand.
I got to get their reaction.
Yes. And, when we were in college, our freshman year of college, we still had to get each other's reactions on things. I have no idea what we talked about. I'm sure we just told each other what happened at college because we were not at the same one. And you like to remind me about how my dad, who just came to the studio.
Shout out Harold.
Yeah. And that back then you didn't have like you can call
Long
anywhere
distance,
long distance,
yep.
and you're paying the
charged.
same monthly fee.
Right.
Back then
It was not the case.
right. And I found out that I had racked up a phone bill and it went to my parents. I think what it did is it was probably on my account at school. And then
they got the bill.
Yeah. And so my dad called and was like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. And I do remember that's when they started to give me those phone cards. So then I knew I have this amount of
time.
Minutes.
Yep.
But I had to call and tell you.
Yes.
That I couldn't call you
couldn't call me anymore. And we proceeded to talk again for probably 3 hours, long distance.
Yes.
So your bill...
So the bill
was going to be the same next month.
I know. And I don't know if I must have called. Maybe I told my parents, like, to warn them. Like, I called Launa to tell her I couldn't call her anymore. And then we proceeded to just keep talking.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when the phone cards came and they were like, this is for calls to Launa.
Yeah.
Because my parents had a number, and I don't know when they got, maybe when I was in college, they got this number thing that you would call. It wasn't an 800 number, but it was like an 8 something. And it would just go to my parents' house.
Yeah.
They would get the bill for it, but it wasn't as pricey as calling long distance or calling collect.
Yeah.
So I remember doing that. So I feel like my phone cards were like to use when I talked to you.
Yeah. And then you could call that number to talk to
my parents. And I could use that number wherever I was. Like when I left and lived in Milwaukee, I can remember calling that. I would drive, like when I would drive home or drive back to Milwaukee. I would always stop at Iowa 80, this rest stop, and they had a payphone by the bathrooms. And I would, like, right when I got there, I would usually get gas, and then I would go in, use the bathroom, call on the phone to say like that I made it to Iowa 80 because there was no tracking. They couldn't see where I was. And I would be like, I'm going to eat lunch or whatever it was. And I was usually like, like they had fast food places in there. So I'd always eat like Wendy's. And I was like, then I'll get going. So then they would know
about how much
hours
time you had left.
Yes, when I should be arriving.
Yeah. At your destination.
At my destination of Wahoo.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So definitely phones. That was a thing. I even told my dad, I was like, yeah, we talked about when, we had call waiting and then how I got to have
a teen
line. And we were eating dinner and he was like, yeah. Like, he was just like, uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh. Well, so this episode, we wanted to talk about birthday parties. Was there anything else we were going to... Oh, we did want to talk about we did chat before about like people have been responding.
Oh, yes.
I saw the other day, we did have a couple people give us reviews, which I was excited about. And they were cute little reviews too.
Yes.
So thank you for doing that. And I'm glad our laughs make you laugh and not make you like close your ears. Yeah. Make it stop. And then we have our Facebook page and we've had some people respond on that, which has been kind of fun.
Right.
The picture of you with the phone, we had some responses. Someone said, Jennifer said that you can still buy Cleary Canadians.
Yes.
So I saw that and I was like, I really need to
go buy one.
But I loved. I said, "Ooh, I need to find and drink a Cleary Canadian stat," and she replied to that. For me, memory was better than the flavor.
Right. They've obviously changed.
Maybe I I don't know. Maybe I didn't even think it was good then, but I was like, but I look cool. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows? And then the whole candy thing we were wondering about. Another Jennifer, well, she's a Jen.
Yep.
I still call her Jenny.
I do too.
But she will always be Jenny to us. Jenny from the block. She said that they were sweet tarts.
Yes.
And
I do remember now that they were like the chewy sweet tarts. So they were like 3 or 4 in a pack.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
And I was like, is that really? Like, I thought those were those small ones, but they must have had those chewy ones. So are sweet tarts at all a thing anymore? Do they still have sweet tarts?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we need to do like go on the hunt for different
candy.
like 80s. Yeah. So this week we wanted to talk about birthday parties, and we did put some stuff in on the Facebook page. There's a photo of the two of us at a birthday party, neither one of our parties, but it's a funny photo of us with nice hair and clothes and cake on our face. And then I had posted like one of those like memes where there was a kid blowing out his candles and with a cigarette
in his
ashtray
face,
and
beer cans.
Yeah. And people related to that as well. They were like, "Oh, I think I have a photo like that."
I think I might also.
So it's been fun just to kind of see what people have been saying, and I was starting to think about all of the birthday parties.
Oh, there were so many. Those were so fun.
They were.
They really were.
Yes, like that was the best. I feel like that was probably one of my best memories of childhood was birthday parties. The one thing I was thinking about, because both of our birthdays are in the summer, and I can remember having a slip and slide one year. I mean, I'm sure I had it longer, but we used it
for that year. Yeah.
And two things about that. A, the fact that like you're supposed like that was a thing to play on, that you put it on a hard ground and then you're supposed to run and like jump and onto your stomach
and chest. Yes.
And there was one girl at my birthday party that she knocked the wind out of her, and like I ran in to get my mom because we were just outside by playing in the yard by ourselves. Another thing that my parents did to make, I think it came with something that you maybe staked in the ground.
Yes, I did in the corner.
But it never stayed.
No.
So my parents had put like bricks. So not only were you running to jump on the hard ground, but you also had
dodge bricks at the end.
But we thought it was a great time.
Right. I don't think we ever had bricks on ours, but I remember them not staying in the ground.
Yes. I don't know, maybe that day it was like because I have photos of it, and I don't know if that particular birthday party that day, it must have just been really windy or something. Maybe on a normal like day it wouldn't be needing to put bricks. on there, but yeah, I can remember that.
I remember from a slip and slide, we had to pick it up that day that we used it because it would wreck the grass.
Remember that? Yes, that would, yes.
You'd use it for that afternoon, but it had to be picked up.
Pick it up and put it away.
Yes.
I feel like, too, slip and slides didn't have a very long lifespan.
No.
They would rip.
They ripped a lot. Yeah.
Is that a thing anymore? I know you get pools.
Right.
So I don't know about slip and slides.
I had, I think, a slip and slide and I don't remember what it was called, but it had the sprinkler was a banana.
Oh,
so
I didn't have that, but I remember
there were 2 different types.
Okay,
because
that was a thing too. Like you just ran through the sprinkler.
Yeah.
So then you would want to fancy it up with a banana.
That's true. They got really fancy ones now.
Is that still a thing? Like you run through the sprinkler?
Well, I don't know. I made it my granddaughter's thing in the summer.
Yeah.
We got her I don't know if it's I think it's a worm or, no, it's not a worm, caterpillar or something.
Oh,
it has all these legs, and when the water goes through, they flip and flop around.
Oh, that's fun.
And she did it. She didn't do it this year because we were out at the lakes in the pool.
Oh,
and
sure.
so we didn't take that out. But When
But
we
you've had
did,
that.
yeah, but when we did, and I was like, I don't know if kids do this anymore, but she's doing it.
Well, yeah, bringing it back.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, sometimes the pool when they're little, even if it is a little kibble, they're like, I don't like this, or they don't want to be in it.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, I'll play in the water.
Mhm.
And so having something like that, like the little cute little
sprinkler.
yeah. That's cute.
She likes them both, the sprinkler and the pool.
And the pool. Yeah. I would have to agree with her. Like they're both fun. Yeah. I don't know if I mean,
I didn't run through it with her, but I sat in a chair and got sprinkled
did this
on.
Sometimes Gizmo and I run through sprinklers because
they're in the
on
sidewalk.
And yes, and we have to run. Like he doesn't realize, he's like, what's happening? And I'm like, go, 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 go. And he's like, I try to do it when like they're going the other way.
Other ways
and
that you can make it across.
Yes, yes. And he's like, but I'm still sniffing. So before we started recording, we were talking a little bit about cakes at our birthdays.
Yes.
I don't think I do have a photo, but I don't remember this. I think it was like 3. I do have a photo because my birthday is on 4th of July. I did have a cake that was shaped like a firecracker.
Oh,
one year.
okay.
That is probably, and then I do remember another cake when I was a teenager, probably like maybe, I don't remember if it was like middle school or early like high school. Mm-hmm. And it was like the thing to make those I mean, everyone made these cakes. It wasn't like a special birthday cake, but we made it and you did like the fruit. So it looked like a flag.
Oh, yes. So
I had blueberries and strawberries. You had the whipped cream and all of that. But really, other than that, we would always get Dairy Queen cakes.
Right.
Like that was, I loved those. It was summer, so that was a perfect thing. But I don't remember getting like any cake that a fancy cake. And maybe I did, but I
you just don't remember.
Yeah. How about you?
I remember we used to get cakes from the bakery.
Okay.
And me and my sister have summer birthdays just a month, not even a month apart.
Sure.
So we'd have our parties together.
Oh, sure.
And so I remember going down and picking out the designs on cakes for our parties and stuff. Yeah. I do remember I had a strawberry shortcake cake at one time. And I believe it was...
Was it strawberry? Did it taste like strawberry?
That one, I believe, was homemade. And we just we made it and then frosted it and then had those candies.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember those candies that you would just put on there? I think that one
that
was
were like hard.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you should have ate them.
I don't think you should have ate them, no.
I forgot about those.
Yes. So I had a couple like that. And I do remember strawberry shortcake was like that. And then I had like a Ernie cake from Sesame Street.
Fun.
Bert or Ernie, I can't remember.
Okay.
And then I don't know if there was, I think that was all that I can remember right now.
Sure.
But yeah, I remember just going down and having the bakery make on theirs. I don't remember what the design was.
Okay.
But they'd always put like the little figurines on it. Like,
oh, yes,
I had balloons.
Yes.
I remember keeping those balloons and stuff.
Yes,
it was like, why? But
I do remember, though. I do remember doing those figurines. But I couldn't tell you what I had.
I can't remember what it is.
I probably had balloons,
Mm-hmm.
too. That sounds familiar.
Yep.
And I totally forgot about those candies when you would make your own cakes
and
put those on there. Yeah, you don't see those anymore either.
No,
they
you
probably
see
were
these
like,
elaborate cakes.
Well, yeah, like you go to the bakery and you get like a specialized cake. Yeah. So, yeah, we didn't do that.
No.
I feel like most of my cakes were homemade or from Dairy Queen. I just can't remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think mine was more homemade or from the bakery.
Yeah.
When I got older, probably we did ice cream cakes, like when we didn't have parties.
Oh,
like with our
sure.
family, anymore.
Right.
Like everybody coming over.
Right.
So I think that was a DQ cake. There.
Sure. I feel like, because I always had birthday friend's birthday party was usually always on the 3rd, and then the 4th was when family came over. I feel like we had regular cake for family, and the kid cake was like
for the friends.
Was the DQ one? Yeah, yeah, for friends.
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, I never now like it's the elaborate cakes.
Yeah,
that's
the thing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like what it will be. In 20 years,
right? Yeah,
it's just going to keep more elaborate, or are they going to go back
to hard candy?
Yeah, stick your homemade and stick your hard
sugar
candy on there.
That's just sugar.
It is. It is. What was like your favorite? Like, do you or not even? It doesn't have to be favorite. But like, what do you remember about what we did for birthday parties for friends' birthday parties?
Oh my gosh. What didn't we do? Let's see. We did trances.
Oh my God. Yes. I should have won an Academy Award.
You should have.
I was freaking good at like, people were like, she's faking. And I couldn't do it now. Like I laughed.
I would laugh
like if you looked at me, I'd start laughing about it. I couldn't do it, but I feel like I should have won Academy Awards for trances and for prank calls.
Right.
Because you all could be laughing in the background and I would just
keep. I think me and you did really good prank calls.
Yes. Yes.
Because we would do them together sometimes.
Yes. And we wouldn't laugh.
No.
And the two of us
I can't
not
believe
laughing.
It. I can't believe it. No.
I can't either. We were working.
We were working.
We were working towards our Academy Award. We still haven't got.
Yeah.
So if people don't know, I feel like anyone from Gen X probably knows about
prank calls
and trances,
right?
Or putting people in a trance and like what you would do. I've seen other people talk about it on TikTok, and I'm like, oh my God, okay, at least other people were doing that weirdo things like that, because we did it every birthday party. And I feel like there were other people, not just me, that would fake.
Right. I know one. I know one right now. It comes to mind. So I know 2 people that did it.
But I love that we thought we could put someone in a trance and get them out. And everything was fine. They were fine. Like, where am I?
Yeah.
What happened? What did I say? Why am I here now? I can remember one party where I was like going full like literally gonna get that award, where I was like, I am not gonna break character for this.
Is this the time we threw water on you?
And I was walking down the steps.
Oh yes.
Yes. And I still did it. I came out of the trance because you guys threw water on me. Because of course when you throw water on someone, they just come out of a trance. Yes.
Or they melt like a witch. And they melt. So
I didn't melt, no. Thank God. But I did fall down the stairs.
You did.
Because I was like, I gotta
Academy Award.
They're watching. My people are
watching.
And
this was when we were, I mean,
were we in middle school or
I feel
like probably middle school.
I think middle school.
Yeah.
5th, 6th, around there. 5th, 6th, 7th grade maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like in 8th grade we were done. We were over trances. I don't remember really doing it.
No, I don't either. Grade. I don't really remember having birthday parties after that either.
I remember having a birthday party. Did you? And I probably remember it because we have video evidence of some of our birthday parties.
Right.
And I have watched it, and because I feel like, but once we hit like 8th grade, the big thing to do, because we're in a small town, I don't think you would do this in a big town, is like walk around town.
Oh yes.
Like get dressed up, like look good, have like your
what?
Well, not like in like prom outfits, but you would like have your hair done 80s or 90s style. You'd have your nice jeans on. Like we weren't like walking in like
high heels and short skirts.
No,
I hope.
No, we weren't doing that, but we also weren't in like our gym clothes, I guess is what I meant.
Right,
like we weren't like looking like we were going for
Slobs.
a walk. Like usually when you go for a walk, you're not like, I'm gonna wear my new jeans,
right,
and my new sweater, my dangled earrings.
I don't have my.
I know you didn't have earrings. I remember one of our other friends, and I used to have like huge earrings. Yeah, hoops. Now I'd never sometimes I put earrings on, but not very often. So I feel like that's what we did. Like we walked around because we couldn't drive.
I don't remember that.
Well,
maybe I wasn't invited to your party.
Oh no, you were at this one because we saw the truck. Oh. And I know I don't want to say who it is, but I know if I could say the truck, you would know who I
know who you're talking about.
So again, living in a small town still, you have to not say certain things, right? So I know you were there.
I was there. I don't remember walking around town.
We walked around town, and on this video that we have that I haven't watched, it's been a while since I watched it, but I can remember us outside with like a boom box.
Okay, I do.
And we were listening
to
tapes as I spit. Sorry. We were listening to tapes, and I can't remember what song. Oh no, I do remember it was Guns N' Roses. That it was really popular at that point. Was that November Rain? Okay, and it's like 10 minutes long.
Right. 20.
Yeah. And I remember like us like listening to that, and then that's when we were gonna like go. I was gonna put that away in the house. Okay. And then we went on a walk, and I don't know where the hell we went. I don't know who we saw. I don't know what the agenda was.
I don't either.
But we just did. That was like weird. And then I remember then at that time of our like lives of birthday parties, and you would go back and you would like watch a movie.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe we went down and got a movie. Maybe. We did have a video store, or you could get them at the grocery store. So maybe we went down and rented a movie. Yeah. Because I do remember doing that as well. And then I don't really remember after 8th grade really doing birthday parties.
No, I don't
anymore.
Either. No.
Maybe you went and did something with
with a few friends or whatever.
But yeah. Oh, Gizmo. I don't know if you could hear it. Pick that up. Gizmo had to say hello. So that's what I remember, like our 8th grade type stuff, and then our trances. And
then we did that light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Okay, so I don't remember.
You don't remember
that.
doing that?
I saw someone talking about that on TikTok, and I was like, did we ever do that?
Yes, we did.
Did we ever lift anyone? Because wasn't it where
you put your fingers together? And you lifted them from like their knees and their like underarms?
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. I
did we ever lift?
I doubt that.
I
doubt it.
I don't either. Yeah, I doubt that either.
Ouija boards.
I do remember Ouija boards, especially when we were a little bit old, like middle school.
Right.
And I could probably actually remember doing that in high school. That was probably a thing too of like high school.
Right.
Gizmo is entertaining us here. He likes to push on his little bed. I did put some treats in there, so he might be messing with those. Yeah, I do remember that. I remember doing like that. What is that called? Bloody Mary.
Yes.
I was going to say Scary Mary.
Yeah.
But
we all know what that is too.
I was like, wait, that's not right. I remember doing that, but nothing ever happened. But I do remember being scared doing it because I was like, what if it actually happens?
Right. No kidding.
You know?
It's like you do it first.
Yes. Make sure you don't like die. Yeah. Then I'll do it, or you don't become possessed or something. And going back to trances, if you didn't know what a trance, like if someone was like, I was a Gen Xer and I don't even remember trances, or I'm not a Gen Xer and I don't know what you're talking about. It was like the weirdest thing where remember we would like rub each other's temples. Did we say anything?
You went forwards and then you went backwards
twice.
Yes.
Each time. Yes. I remember that. And you just kept doing it.
Yep. I don't know if we said anything.
I don't either. I do remember like when I was like, sure, I'll get like a massage. Like a head massage. And I was like, and prepare for my performance. I feel like, and I know there was other people. Oh goodness, Gizmo. I know that there were other people that would go in a trance.
Right.
So it was fun entertainment for us. Another fun entertainment for us was the prank calling. We kind of talked about that a little bit because back then You didn't know, like,
nobody
yet.
No.
We did not have caller ID.
Nope.
Caller ID kind of started probably when were we in high school?
Probably high school.
When all of a sudden, like, caller ID came
right
about. So caller ID kind of like squashed our
prank calls.
Yeah, and our fun. It
was fun.
We did have a good time, and I don't, no one got hurt. We never were, bullying anyone. Like, I feel like now kids it would be a totally different thing. And we never really called each other because we were all together. But I think it's hilarious that we would call parents.
Right.
The parents that were like the child was
we're with.
Yes. And they were okay.
And they were okay.
Yeah, call my mom and dad.
Yeah, prank them. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, go ahead, call my mom and dad, prank them.
And they knew that they had to have known who we were.
Right.
And I can remember one that we were kind of discussing that they obviously knew who it was. And we repeatedly called them.
Right. And sometimes we would just call and hang up.
Yes.
And sometimes we would call and say something.
And have a little, maybe a story or, or
a
just
joke.
A joke. Yeah. But I do remember these parents that we called numerous times, and I can even remember us, like, where we were, like, whose house we were in.
Yep.
And we were in their bedroom and everything. And finally, those parents were like, we're going to bed girls.
Stop calling us. We're going to bed now.
Yeah. Because that was the thing, now you can put your phone on silent. I mean, you could put a phone on silent, or you could put it off the receiver, but then if there was an emergency, people couldn't call you. So you couldn't really, like, do something like that. So, yeah, you had to be
then didn't they start doing where you could trace the number somehow?
Yeah, I think you could do, like, a star
69. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I think that was the first thing that happened.
Right, because of all these prank calls.
Yes. You know what else I remember doing? It was a prank. It wasn't really like, you used the phone, but I remember doing this in the summer. We would have, and they still have this, or I don't think they do the theater part, but they have Summer Institute.
Okay.
Kids Summer Institute. And back then, they had a theater, like, I don't know what you called it, program, whatever. Yeah. And it was a 2-week long one. And you would practice the play for so many hours. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, you would perform it. Well, so we were up at the school, and I think it was always in the mornings, like all the way up until, like, I don't know if it was like 9 to noon it was long days.
Yeah.
Not long days, but it wasn't just an hour.
Right.
But there would be times when, like, you might be working, the director's working on something else, and Mrs. Dillo, she would be working with, say, other kids, and you would just be hanging out. And we were in the little theater, which is now
the weight room.
A weight room. Yes. And so we would be hanging out on those big steps, but remember they had that payphone up there. So what we would do is we would call, like, feminine hygiene product places, like Always or whatever those places were, and we would get, like,
samples.
Yeah, we would get samples. And sometimes we'd have them sent to ourselves, and sometimes we thought it was funny.
Send them to other people.
Yes.
Because you had a phone book there. It was attached to the telephone.
And
so you could just look up anybody's name and
get them to send a pack of tampons to them. And why we thought that was so funny,
I don't know.
Because I'm sure someone would be like, "Oh, nice!
Oh,
I got a sample in the mail." But yeah, I remember doing that. That is funny, because I remember Mrs. Dill will be like, "What are you guys doing up there?" Like, and we're like, "Nothing."
You'll be getting some tampons soon.
Yeah. In a few weeks, expect a package.
Yeah.
Oh, Gizmo. So yeah, I do remember doing stuff like that. And the fact that the high school had that payphone. Now, if you needed to use the phone at the school, you'd have to go into the office, and you couldn't just go on a
and what kid doesn't really? have a phone or a friend that has a phone that they can use, you know?
Right. Yeah, especially high school kids.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, prank calls.
Yeah. Those were the best.
Yeah, and you and I, like you said, we were very good at it.
We were good at it.
And like I said, I don't know how we did it.
Do you remember when we had bought a microphone?
Oh, yeah.
And it was a plastic micro, and it changed your voice.
Yes. And it was like echoey.
It would echo, and it made it sometimes. It made it deep.
Yes.
You know, I think there was like something that you could change to different.
Yes.
To different things,
like settings.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
To make your voice do different things.
So we would
use that and call people.
I do remember that.
Oh yeah,
we had
those were fun.
Well, props with our calling, and I feel like we probably bought that because we were like, hey,
we can use this.
I know exactly what we can use this for.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, we should ask the listeners. Let us know. Like, did you prank call
people? What did you say?
Yeah, what'd you say?
What did you do?
Right. Did you tell jokes? Did you ever get pranked?
Right.
Do you
I don't remember ever getting pranked. Do you?
I don't either. I do remember there probably was like a prank where if it was just like a hang up.
Oh, yeah.
But that also could be a wrong someone's like, oh crap, I called the wrong person.
Number.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't ever remember getting a prank.
No, where somebody's said something to you.
Right. Well, I take that back a little bit. I remember when I was in high school, would have been high school because some of you guys could drive legally.
Mm-hmm.
But
we all could drive.
We all did drive. Yes. I didn't because I didn't have to do it.
No, because
I was younger and you guys were just, not that I was that young. I was a year younger. So you guys were had your learner's permits.
Right.
And I remember that where I took driver's ed with you guys because I wanted to take it with my friends. Right. But then that was all I got on driving wise until a whole year later. But, I do remember when I would babysit for a family here in town a lot, and they had this little den. It was right off their garage. You would walk in, and it had a couch and a TV, and it had one of those little a desk phone. It wasn't a rotary, but it was one of those, and it was a light colored one. I can still remember that, and I can remember I would sit in there when the kids were sleeping. I would sit in there at night and watch TV so I wouldn't wake them up or anything like that.
Right.
And that freaking phone, I know it was you guys, but I would get prank calls and it would be to scare me.
Yeah, right.
And I remember it was probably around that time where we had seen that movie with that babysitter. The baby where it was have you checked the children?
Yes.
And then it was the call is coming from inside your house. And all I could, because I have even though I was a prank caller person and I watched all that stuff, I knew that was a TV show or a movie. I definitely have, and I still do have a very active imagination. So I was I'm gonna die. Is this real or is that someone gonna come through that garage?
Right.
I would always think that garage door. Or I was if someone comes, then I'm well, how do I get the kids? I'm just gonna save myself out the garage door. But I do remember that, and I remember that and I could. Why they had other phones in the house, but I think it was because I was in that room, and that freaking phone ringing, and you guys scaring me, and then denying it,
right?
Or then
I was good.
You were good, but my favorite was though when we would do that, if you guys would call and scare or whatever, but then you would say 5 minutes later you would call it yourself.
Yes. What are you doing?
Why? What's wrong? Why are you upset? And I'm did you call me? No. This is the first time we're calling me. Did you call me? No.
No, I didn't call.
You guys were really, you guys were really good. Oh, Gizmo. I don't know if you can actually hear this through the microphone, but Gizmo is trying to make all the noises. He got a haircut today, so I think he's itchy. But yeah, I do. So I did get pranked.
Yes, you did get pranked. But
it wasn't really at my house. It was
it was when you were babysitting.
Yeah.
A lot of things happen when you babysat.
Yes, because you remember. You know what I'm going to talk about.
Yes, I was.
You were there.
I was there. I do remember.
This was at my cousin's, and then at that time they lived by the funeral home.
Oh yes,
and the two of them were little. They were. They probably were in grade school at the time.
Yeah.
I think they were that. Because we would have been in like 8th grade. And I was babysitting. You guys came over. We went and got a movie that we never even watched because we were like, okay, this is not a scary movie. This is some kind of sick. I don't even know how they rented it.
No,
to us.
I don't either.
Because we were in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I remember because when we had the one other video store here, I remember it being like a thing where I couldn't even play. Like I could only pay PG-13 because I would always play Dirty Dancing. So I don't know how they let us rent that because it's not like we went with anyone older.
No.
We just walked in and we thought it was a funny title of I Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen it, you'll know what we're talking about. And if you've never seen it, don't
watch it.
Like we watched I think 5 minutes and we shut it off because we were like, what is this?
Right.
And we had two little kids. And even we were like freaked out.
Yeah.
But it was soon after us like shutting it off and we were getting like knocks on the door.
Windows.
Yes.
Knocks on the windows.
Yes.
We were just...
And we couldn't see. Every time, like, they were so...
Quick
and good at it.
Yeah.
And they did it for it was a long
time. It was like an hour or so.
Yes. And I remember like one of our friends who likes to go and find the knives. I remember like she found a knife in the kitchen. And then finally you called your mom and was just like, can you come over?
And
because at first we were like, it's someone we know.
Right.
They're messing with us. They know we're over here.
Right.
And there was a football game, I remember. There was a football game that night. And we didn't
It was at Sam Crawford.
Yes. So we knew that they were, like, we weren't that far from there. But yeah, I can still remember you calling. And I can still remember watching, like, your mom come and, like, pull up and, like,
go through the alley.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Never saw anyone. Nope. And then those two.
And we went outside.
We went outside
when she came over.
Yes. Never saw them. And the fact that there were multiple people of us, like, in the house that could be, like, say, at the door or at a window or at the back door, still never saw them.
Yeah.
Then when we finally found out who it was, they did finally, like.
We did finally. It wasn't even, gosh, it was how many years later?
It was a long time.
Yeah.
And we couldn't believe it was them. That they didn't tell us.
Right. B, that they got away with it.
Yes. And that we never saw them that night or caught. Yeah. That was just.
And they did it for like an hour. It was like. Yes. It was like a scary, like being taunted.
Like, yes. It was like being in a movie.
Yes.
Like in like Scream or like one of those movies where someone is like taunting you.
Outside. You can't leave. You can't.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. And I don't know, did they stop once your mom came?
I don't remember.
I can't remember either. Like if they were like, okay, next time they're gonna call the cops. Yeah. But yeah, those two. I can't believe that they did that. No. But we definitely and that wasn't even a birthday party.
No.
We've kind of got sidetracked from birthday parties, but we would do that too, where a lot of times I would be babysitting like either my cousins or the family in town, and you guys would come over or something.
Right.
But yeah, oh my gosh, prank calls.
Prank calls.
We could have like, we talked about this a little bit, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, how we could have murdered on accident because of our friend that likes to get the knives out. She was going to protect us.
Yep.
And I don't know if that was a birthday party or if that was just a like hanging out.
That was a hanging out.
Was that just a hanging out too?
the last time the knives came out?
Yes. I think it was probably the last time the knives came out.
I think that's probably the last time that we were all together, too.
Probably.
I think
because that was high school.
I think so.
I think that was high school. And yeah, I think it was probably like in like early high school. I feel like it wasn't like senior year.
No, I don't think so.
But
I'm talking about like that group that we were together all the time.
Yes.
That's when it kind of split. That was the last time that group was together.
Because then when you go into high school, you start kind of making other friends and you like split. So yeah. So it probably was like freshman year.
Probably.
I feel like. I thought you meant like we stopped hanging out because
no.
we're like, or the last time the knives came out because that was a little scary because we could have stabbed somebody. Because I think
that too, maybe.
Oh my gosh,
I do believe she got yelled. I think I yelled at her
about the knives.
But I think I was on her side. I think I was the one with her. I don't remember.
I know.
I can't even remember.
I know. I was one of the I was scaring.
I was scaring.
So she would have been on the other side. She would have been on the other side. She was scared. Right. I think you were scaring. I was scaring. And then I remember we went to one other person's house. And then there was another person that was there. She was part of the scaring us at the funeral home house.
Oh, yes.
I feel like that's what it was. And I remember because we went and the owner of the house knew, or not the owner, but the owner's child our friend, she knew we were doing it as well. Because she was like, you can get into the basement. Which is terrible that we would do that. Like, so we just rumbled and like knocked over stuff down there just to scare. And then, I feel like I think that someone had to tell her to put
the knife.
I think Anne had to tell her. I don't think Anne will mind if we say her name. That she had to tell her to put the knife away because she knew.
She knew. But she was on that side, the scaring side.
Yes.
Or being scared.
She was on, she was with everyone that was being scared, but she knew who was doing it.
Right.
And so she was just like, put the knife away. Because I remember like once we like came up we were going up the steps and we were gonna like open the door and she could have just literally like stabbed us in the chest. And I think that's why Anne was like, put the knife away. Oh my gosh.
What the hell?
So our prank calls turned into almost murder.
Right.
I just remember for birthday parties, for mine, what was great, because my birthday was 4th of July, or even if your birthday was like in that time frame, you always had great entertainment because you would just go do fireworks.
Right.
And we always loved to do fireworks. And I remember when I was little, the neighbors were doing them. And then we would do, like, then my dad would do them because we were too young to actually light them.
Yeah.
But then when we got older, we could go down and get our own, and or my parents would buy them, and then we could set them off.
Right.
So that was always like, it was like, well, we know we're gonna come back and do watch a movie, and then go out and do fireworks.
The one I remember is lighting those strobe lights off and dancing in the street.
Yes, I have that on video too. I have a lot of video evidence of this. What were we doing? And what were we thinking? And what were the neighbors?
Right. What are they? Or like, what's wrong with these kids?
I know. What are they doing? And okay. But yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure my parents were probably feeling the same way. They're like, oh God, that's my child. What was your, like, do you remember what your favorite present was? Like, birthday present? It doesn't have to be from a friend.
Right.
But, or it can be from a friend, but like, what do you remember?
Well, from friend birthday parties, I remember posters. Those were big.
Yes, that was a big thing, to give each other posters
and like funny T-shirts.
Yes. I remember one year, I think you and maybe somebody, like maybe you did like a gift like together, and you gave me from Lindley's clothing down, like they had, that was like, sometimes we would go there.
Yeah.
At that point, it was still there. And you guys gave me one of those hyper color
shirts.
Because you guys had them, and I was like, I really want one of those. And I got one. And those things, they that great. Like after you got it, it wasn't like you washed it a few times.
And then it wasn't.
You didn't really work.
But
it was super. But I remember I was so excited about that.
Like, but you wore it because people put their hands on your boobs.
Yeah.
And you was like, or put them all over your back or whatever.
Yes. I feel like though, would it show like if you were like sweaty or anything?
I'm sure it would. Anything heat,
heat wise.
Jeez, now it would show.
I would just be a big
I would be
heat.
a big heat. Whatever the hot color was. That's
I remember that because the one you got me, I remember it was like had a blue in it.
They did it. I remember mine was purple and pink.
Oh, okay. I think this was like a blue and white or something like that. Yeah. So those were was the
that was a thing.
And it was funny that posters that was like an in thing just in general to have in your room was to have a bunch of posters. Do you remember like what poster you had?
I had, well, I don't remember if I had any, like, when I was younger, if I had any, teen heartthrob people on my wall. But, But as I got older and posters were still the thing, I had, like, Andre Agassi. He's a tennis player. He's hot.
You did.
And
I think he was hot.
Dan Marley.
Oh, yes. I do remember that. Yeah.
But as anything else, like, I wasn't really into New Kids on the Block. So I didn't have that kind of poster or anything like that. You did have buttons. I think I bought you one. I think I bought you Donnie.
You probably did.
I think I did for a birthday.
Yes, as a birthday present.
Yeah.
I can remember more. I mean, I know I had posters, and I know I got posters for birthdays, but I can remember getting those magazines like Teen Beat.
Oh, yeah. Tiger Beat,
all that. And I would take those out. And
I would do that too.
I would have like anyone I thought was like popular, I think too, because I would just have like a wall of like
magazine pictures.
Yeah. It didn't have to be like hot people, but it was like anyone that I thought I was like, oh, they're fun. I want to be them.
I think because I even think I had like Debbie Gibson on my wall thing or, out.
Yeah. I think I probably had Tiffany.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, posters. They were the thing.
Those were a thing. Now you don't really see. You don't really do that anymore. We had like 4 or 5 years ago, we got the kids posters, but we put them in like a poster frame and stuff. Oh, yeah. Just to put something on their walls because they were like, they didn't really care.
Right.
And I was like, I can remember when I was a kid and I wanted something on the walls, decorative. Yeah. So
when the girls were little, they had Barbie. Posters because it came with their movies or whatever.
Oh yeah. And
I would hang them up.
Sure.
I don't know if they liked it, but they got hung up anyway.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if the kids liked what we put up either. They was like whatever.
And I know that one of them did a puzzle.
Oh.
And put it in a big frame like that.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So she had that on her wall.
Nice.
But yeah. Otherwise, no, not really. Oh, they had. I take that back. They did have Bratz posters on their walls.
I can remember them liking Bratz. Yep. I don't know why I remember that, but I remember that was thing. Because then they had like the dolls.
Oh yeah,
that's
dolls,
what I remember.
They had the stage. They had the party bus. They had the airplane. I believe they had all of that.
So that Bratz is like equivalent to us doing
Barbie
or Gem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how they. Yeah, that's what they were like. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So they had all that Bratz stuff.
Oh, Bratz. Well, is there anything else we needed to remember about our childhood birthday parties? I'm trying to think of did we cover?
I think we did.
I do remember. Did you ever for a birthday party where you're like, we're going to stay up until the time you were born?
Like stay up all
night?
Oh, no.
We never made it.
Till midnight, but not till the actual time we were born.
We would always try to be like, we're going to do that.
Yeah,
never did. Because I was born at like 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, I was born at night. So, so it was like.
Yes.
I'd have to wait a whole almost 24
hours. Yes.
No, that ain't me. I sleep. I like my sleep.
And you should remember, like, you would bring your, like, sleeping bags and your pillow
and your bag.
All would just be
go right in the living room.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody would be.
My mom had to tell me at one birthday party I had, I kind of remember it, I kind of don't, but we stayed upstairs in the living room instead of downstairs.
Yeah.
And I think we had just put our upstairs, they added it on.
That. Yeah.
And so we had a new shower in the bathroom. And my mom said we were all in the shower playing, not running the shower, but like pretending it was an elevator.
Oh
I was like, why would we do that?
That's adorable.
But we were.
Well,
and then she said, go to bed. I mean, I kind of remember it. I kind of don't. I don't remember, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's hilarious. I remember talking about that, like, say, like, pretending that's an elevator. I used to do this by myself. I remember I would play like drive-through, like Dairy Queen or whatever in my room, and I would just open up the window.
We did that,
and I would have like a little, like, I don't even know where the hell I got it from, but it was like a pad that you would get for like
to make orders.
I think you could just get it at the dime store or whatever. But but I would do that. Yeah, I would have and I would just. That's when I would just.
Yeah,
do that when I was upstairs by myself.
I would do that, and the kids, when we were really little, the kids my mom would babysit for, we would do that in me and my sister's room because we had like 2 windows. Like it made an L. And so like the first one, the person took the order, pretended to take the order. And then the second one, the person pretended to give the food.
order.
Yeah.
Oh, you were like fancy.
Yeah,
you had
we had 2 windows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I remember cranking out, they were crank windows.
Yes.
And so we'd crank them out. I'm sure we broke them because we cranked them in and out so much. But,
yes.
But yes,
that's funny.
We used to do that. That was fun.
Okay, I'm glad that, other people wanted to be a drive-through
right
worker. I love that.
I know.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then I did, I guess, at Starbucks at one point, I did work a drive-through.
Oh,
I was like, and then I never did that. But I did work a drive-through at Starbucks. Yeah. That's funny.
It is.
And I love that, like, but we were using your imagination.
Right.
And I know kids still do use
stuff,
their imagination, but I feel like now there's so much where you're looking at your phone or YouTube or all of that, where we didn't have any of that. Like, we had like 3 channels.
Right.
And you had to
watch what was on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't have Netflix. You didn't have Disney Plus.
Right. You just watch what
was on TV.
What was on TV? Yes. Yes. And I remember it would be so great when you would have, like, HBO would have free weekends.
Oh, yes.
And so you could watch them. And then
you could record them.
That's what we would get out the blank VHS
and record the movies.
I don't even know if we'd watch them again, but we recorded them.
We did that. Yep. I remember doing that.
I did too. Yeah. I did too. And talking about TV, I can remember, I was thinking about like the old HBO, like how that would always start.
Right.
But do you remember, like, TV wasn't on all night?
Right. It would shut off at midnight.
Yes. And so you would hear, like, the...
National anthem?
Yeah, national anthem. I know, I'm always like, is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yes. The national anthem, and then it would just go to...
Fuzzy.
Yeah. And that's how Poltergeist becomes a thing.
Yeah.
And you have ghosts, and you get sucked into your TV.
Sucked into your TV.
All the shit we had to like worry about.
I know.
Sucked into a TV. And do you remember at 10 o'clock, if your parents were watching the news, before the news started, it would literally, a guy would come on TV and say, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? Like, what the hell? You don't know where your kid is at 10?
Yeah,
Like, I wonder about that. Like, did people, like, was that just a funny thing, or did people
for
really
real?
Like, shit, where
are my kids? Where are they?
I forgot I have kids.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
I don't know why they
stuff. I don't know how we survived.
Nope.
I don't know. Well,
so
birthday parties at a little bit of an end, I guess.
Yeah.
can't think of anything else. If you have anything, listeners, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll probably
what
get
kind of
done with this
things?
episode and we'll be like,
I should have said this.
I forgot about this.
We'll have to add it to our next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, what kind of fun things did you do for birthday parties?
Yes. Gizmo. My needy dog. So yeah, let us know and we'll check you next time. I think we're going to have a little bonus. Little Halloween bonus episode. So check that out.
Thanks for listening.
And if you're on Facebook, go ahead and follow us at Small Town Gen X.